All right, good evening, traders. Today is April 2nd, 2024. My name is John Kerrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. I am a day trader. I'm usually in and out many times throughout the day, okay? Tonight's webinar is Start Your Day Doing Technical Analysis. I'm going to start off telling you a little bit about my favorite trade and what I'm looking for, okay? My favorite trade, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside of a 2-hour uptrend, all right? My other one is 10-minute downtrend under VWAP in a 2-hour downtrend. All right, so those are my two favorite setups. So that's what I'm looking for each morning, is for one of those two to materialize. All right, the other thing I like to look at is I start my day off and I start doing a little bit of before I do my technical analysis. I like to take a peek at the economic data. I like to look at anything that might be jerking the market around. Maybe there's a Fed speaker that's going to speak in the morning before it opens, or it's going to speak sometime around noon. Things like that. That's what I'm looking for. Unemployment reports, CPI, FOMC statements, anything like that that would jerk the market around. I'm pretty much, I want to know what's going on. My next one is maximum pain. All right, and this is for all the options that expire today, tomorrow. These ones, I will look at this tomorrow morning to see what the open options are that expire on the 3rd, because tomorrow's the 3rd. You can see maximum pain is 522. We're a little bit away from 522 right now, but within striking distance of it. And then I look over here to see the put to call ratio, to see if there's an imminent short squeeze that may happen. All right. So on this put to call ratio, you see there's 1.15 puts for every call. So there's a little bit heavier on the put side than there is on the call side. All right. So I'm looking at that. The other thing I look at is Wall Street IO, because it gives me pre-market data and aftermarket data. So you can see in the black here, this would be the market hours. This would be the blue would be the post-market. And then in the morning, this teal color, this would be the pre-market. All right, so I'm looking at this so I can find pre-market highs, pre-market lows, because oftentimes those do become a target. Not to mention, on Wall Street IO, if my platform does crash, I can always go here and find live data. Okay, this is a live data feed, and it's not delayed, and it's live at all times. And I like it just as a backup in case something like my platform crashes. I can see what's going on. Not to mention, it also has anchored VWAP. All right, I know some of you don't have anchored VWAP. That's one of my favorites tools to use. It also has anchored VWAP, and I can set it up pretty quickly with the Wall Street IO, but not quite as quickly as TC2000. All right, so I'm looking at anchored VWAP, regular VWAP, and that's one of the items I use religiously is the anchored VWAP. So, and Wall Street IO offers free charting. So I'm a member. I've subscribed to it. Next one I look at is the dollar index. I want to know how the dollar is doing, if it's bullish. If we have a strong dollar, typically it causes our markets to pull back or recede, simply because it's going to cost foreign countries, when they convert their currency to ours, in order to pay us for our goods and services that we sell to foreign countries, it's going to cost them more. So anytime the dollar is strong, we're not quite as competitive as we could be as if when the dollar is weak. Strong dollar tends to make us less competitive. Remember, we're competing against all the other nations and companies across the globe. So having a strong dollar might be great for for the market, but not for the market, but for to curb back inflation. But the problem is it does tend to cause our markets to pull back. So right now, I look at the U.S. dollar index. You can see we were in a downtrend all the way until the end of the year. Then we started challenging that downtrend, and then we found our way up to the 200. That's the blue line, and we managed to get on top of the 200. Then we had a pullback. We made a higher low, and from there, unable to make a lower low, price went back up to challenge the prior high. So here you have price action back up here at the prior high. Now, if they happen to get up on top of this high right here and start consolidating, I would think that they're probably going to start climbing this breakdown candle and start to tackle this high over here. Once they get on top of that, well, then we're going to go challenge the highs for 2023. These would be the highs for 2023. All right, so that's what I'm looking at right now. I want to see what the dollar's doing. And I like to keep track of this because this can cause the markets to pull back when the dollar does get bullish. All right, so that's another one I look at. The other one is the earnings. This is our earnings calendar, and you can see right here, here's the second. This shows you the earnings for who had earnings for today. This is for tomorrow. This is for Thursday. And you get a good look at who's going to be reporting soon, because you don't want to be buying some company that might be reporting tonight, tomorrow, or maybe on Friday, especially if you have options that expire on Friday. So it's something to keep track of. Now, all of these links, the economic data, the maximum pain, Wall Street IO, okay, the US dollar index, okay. Now, when I go to the US dollar index, I put it on the daily chart. When it opens up, it comes in on the 30-minute. So I like to see it on the daily chart, okay, because the dollar index runs 24 hours a day, except for, I think, some period between Saturday and Sunday. Same with the earnings calendar. All of those items, okay, are located in the chat. You just have to scroll up, okay? Now, this is me in the chat room. You scroll all the way up to the top, all the way up here, and I've provided links to all of those right through here. Here is Wall Street IO. If you don't have it, it's nice to have it saved in your favorites on your browser right through there. So there's Wall Street IO. There's maximum pain, the next one down. Then you got the economic data. That's the next one underneath maximum pain. NASDAQ earnings. That's underneath the economic data. And then the last one is FX Street. And that lets me know about how the dollar's doing. That gives me real-time data on the dollar, and it's free. So all of these are free. All right. You may have to start a membership, but they're all free. Now, you can upgrade each and every one of them if you want to. I don't. But if you want to upgrade and give them some money, they'll give you some extra bells and whistles if you like it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. I just use them strictly for what I need them for. So those are all right there. If you roll up a little bit further, you'll see my email address. You can reach me at any time. Even if you're not a member of BYOB, I do answer questions for any and everybody. All right, we offer private coaching. I'm going to get into that in a second. My YouTube channel, my Facebook group, and of course a little bit further up if you want to take a trial. All right, so I'm going to head down the road here. This is what my Facebook group looks like. That's what it looks like at the top. All right, this is my YouTube channel. That's what it looks like when you open it up, and this is what it looks like at the top. Private coaching. All right, there's a link in there for private coaching. You can get private coaching from Ed, Rick, Doug, and myself. If you're ever interested and you're struggling with a skill, you want to improve it, pick one of these 4 guys right here. They'd be willing to help you out with that. All right, now here is hit and run candlesticks. If you like to be a member, here it is. You just come down here and you can pick up a right way option trial, a hit and run candlestick trial, and or a BYOB trial. Excuse me. Rick doesn't have trials. It's the first month. It's $24.50. Okay, so first month for $24.50. All right, so each one of these has a trial available to you. All right, for $24.50. So let me just explain the value there. So for the next 90 days, if you're not a member of either one of our services and you haven't taken a trial in a while, for the next 90 days for $75, all right, you could sign up for one trial. All right, cancel it after 30 days, start another trial. Cancel it after 30 days and start another trial. Okay, so for 90 days straight, for $75, you would have access to a professional trader that's willing to answer your questions just to have you stick around and stay in their room. All right, so just saying, there's quite a bit of value there for just $75. And not to mention, it might do you good to try out each one of these rooms. You might be a better fit at right way options. You might be a better fit at hit and run candlesticks. You might enjoy day trading with BYOB trading. All right, so those are our 3 services, and we'd love to have you try each of us out. Really, that would be great. Now, the next one I go to is FANG. All right. This is the FNGU. This is one of my favorites to watch because I trade the market, and that's the SPY. And if you look at FANG, the highest one in there would be Alphabet Class A. That's the Google with the L at the end. All right, so that's the highest ranking one. Now, they're all about 10%. Some are a little bit more, some are a little bit less. All right, so I like to watch the FNGU. And these are the only 10 components of the FNGU. Now, if you look at these 10 components, you'll see that they're probably some of the most heavily weighted stocks in the SPY and the QQQ. So that's why I always look at the FNGU, because it pretty much tells me a lot about where the market is heading, because these are the heavyweights that make up I think well over 30%, sometimes in some cases 50% of one of the indexes, especially like the QQQ. So here's the NASDAQ. All right, and you can see the top one is Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. We go back to FANG. What is it? It's Google, Broadcom, Tesla. Microsoft is in the top 10. They only got 10. Here's Meta, Apple, Netflix, Snowflake, NVIDIA again, okay? So you can see having this and monitoring this and seeing if this is in an uptrend would be some valuable information for you in the morning, okay? Is this in a 2-hour uptrend? Is there a 10-minute uptrend inside that 2-hour uptrend? So I always visit the FNGU. Now this just tells you what's in the FNGU. I'll go in later and show you how I do the technical analysis for the FNGU. So you look back here, and here's NASDAQ. Look at the top 10 here. You got Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Amazon, Meta, Broadcom, Alphabet A and Alphabet B, Tesla, and then Costco, okay? Those make up the top 10 components of the NASDAQ 100, okay? So that's pretty heavy weight right there, right? And then you look at SPY. First 3, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. Now, doesn't that look familiar? Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA. This is NASDAQ. This is S&P 500. Notice the same ones. They're the same heavyweights. Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Amazon, Meta, Google with the L. All right, that's the Class A. Berkshire, Google with the B. Eli Lilly, and Broadcom. And then a little further down, you've got Tesla. Okay, so you can see following the FNGU will give you an edge at looking at market direction. And that's why I follow the FNGU, because I want an edge on market direction. So, my favorite setup, like I just said, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP in a 2-hour uptrend, okay? I don't pick tops and bottoms. I do pick targets, or a 10-minute downtrend under VWAP in a 2-hour downtrend, all right? So that's what we like to do. So I'm looking for 2-hour trends. So I'm going to cross this out, see what we got here, and we don't need this. And we start off, all right? So here I start off with the SPY. Okay, that's my favorite. Okay, now I put anchored VWAPs on all-time high. Now I'm going to show you something, and you're going to, light bulb may go off, all right? This is the last all-time high for SPY, okay? We just made a new all-time high on 3/28. That was the last day of the month of March, right there. Okay, we made an all-time high. All right, I'm on a 130-minute. I could probably go to a 2-hour. All right, so here's a 2-hour. So here's the previous all-time high, right here. All right, now you see how price comes back up to the anchored VWAP line, and then falls. Comes back up and falls. Comes back up and falls. Finally jumps on top of it. All right, but it can't hang out for too long because it's struggling in these 2 days right here. Okay, so you see how many times price action comes up to it and fails, then we finally get on top of it. Okay, so having this anchored VWAP is a beautiful thing for me. All right, because I'm looking at it and I'm looking for price action, how it reacts to it. Now, if you look, here is the all-time high anchored VWAP. This is the one we made on the 28th. You can see here is a price breakdown that happened on the 1st. That would be April 1st. All right, so you can see this pink line right there. I'm going to go to a 10-minute chart, and I'm going to pan over so you can see price action come all the way back to the pink line and kiss it like a butterfly right there, and then fall back under VWAP right here. The brown line is on my VWAP. I have about 4 moving averages on my chart, actually 5, okay? I got my yellow, that's my 3 EMA. I've got my white, that's my 8 EMA. Okay, I've got the dotted line, that's my 17 EMA. Okay, then I have regular VWAP, that is a moving average. And then I put multiple anchored VWAPs because I know that price will come back to them. So if you look at where price action came down to, where did it come? It got up on top of anchored VWAP. This is the all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, the previous all-time high right there. Okay, so price action, all right, failed to make a higher high right here. Failed to make a higher high. All right, so it came all the way back to the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. Now, what does anchored VWAP tell me? This is the most powerful indicator you will ever come across. Okay? It is. I mean, it is strictly the most powerful indicator you'll ever come across. It's better than moving averages. All right? This tells you when money's coming in and when money's coming out of the market. Okay? If institutions are the only ones that can move price, all right? You and I, we can try to move price. We might get it to move a penny or two, but all in all, we're not going to get price action to move. Institutions make the price move, okay? Whenever price is rising up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay? Because that's the average price that shares sold for. Okay, money is coming into the market. This is the only thing you need it for. All right? Is money coming in or is money coming out? Okay? That's all you need it for. Money's coming in, you want to be a buyer. You look for the 2-hour uptrend, and then you look for the 10-minute uptrend. For me, I'm a day trader. I look for the 10-minute uptrend inside that 2-hour uptrend. Okay? Because who's going to pay better than average? All right? Only institutions are going to do that. So when they're buying, I want to be buying. When they're selling, I want to be selling. All right? As they continue to make lower highs and lower lows, and lower highs and lower lows, I want to be a seller. Okay? Now, when they start making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs, I want to be a buyer. All right? When they fail to make a new high, all right, I want to be on guard because they're probably coming back down to visit one of those anchored VWAPs. Yes, Robert, I am recording it. It will be posted on my YouTube channel as well as in the free resources inside of our room. You might not know it, but we have inside here a list of free resources. Right inside here. Free room, archives, all kinds of stuff. If you've never been to our website, it's right in there. All right? Not to mention you can find it on my BYOB Trading channel. All right? So we got you covered. All right? So back to anchored VWAP. All right? So you notice how price comes down to the prior all-time high anchored VWAP, and then it bounces back up to what? The last all-time high anchored VWAP right there. Okay? It doesn't get any better than this. Comes down to it, comes back up to it. That's why I'm saying it's almost better than moving averages. Okay? So where did price come down to here? Okay? Here's the FOMC. Well, actually, this is the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. So this was the last time it made a new high. So you can see price action comes all the way down and it catches right there on the anchored VWAP. That's amazing, all right? And this is the anchored VWAP. It's the volume weighted average price. Okay? It's the average price that shares traded for. Okay? And when you see it catch right here, that's important, all right? Because you know once it catches here, it's probably going to bounce up to the next one. And consequently, if you were in my room today, I had a target because we had a 10-minute uptrend. I don't normally play this. I played it with light contracts only because we were in a 2-hour downtrend, okay? That's not really my favorite. I'd rather play a 10-minute downtrend in a 2-hour downtrend, but we did hit the uptrend line, and I'll go through that in just a minute. All right, so you can see here's we catch on the anchored VWAP that I set. This is the prior all-time high. Okay, this is the high we made on the last day of the month of March. This is the prior high. And this is the high we made before this one. Right here. And isn't that amazing how price action gets caught right there? Okay, now if we take the crosshairs and we put it in there and see where it winds up. Where did it come down to? Right down to minor support. So whenever you see one of these line up with minor support or support, there's a good chance price action's probably going to target it. Okay? So as price was coming down here, all right, we hit the first target, which was the prior all-time high because we shorted through here. All right? And then we held some for the second target, which was the breakup candle low. All right, which was right here. All right, we came down through it this morning. So we nailed our second target, but it kept going. all the way down to here. So we were able to profit all through this drop this morning. Okay, right into here. We took our profits, and then we bought calls to come back up to this anchored VWAP there, which actually starts right here at the head and shoulders. That's a prior low. Isn't that amazing how price action goes all the way back up there? Now, where did it hit there? Well, if you look at this, this is the consolidation low right there. So it hit minor resistance. Notice the VWAP lines up with the minor resistance right there. So that was our target, was the minor resistance of this candle low right there. And there's price action coming right up to it. And we have also an anchored VWAP from over here. Now, I like TC2000 because watch how easy it is to set an anchored VWAP. I just pick it up and drop it. That's it. It's that quick. And then I can edit it. I can make it as fat or as thin as I want to, and I can change the color. Okay? That's why I like TC2000. All right? It's incredibly fast. And I do this early in the morning. Oh yeah, I set up multiple in the Wall Street IO. I think you can. I don't remember trying it, but you're welcome to go ahead and give it a shot. We will visit that later in the evening, and we'll give it a shot and see if it works. Trader X says, yes, you can. Yeah, I don't remember having a problem putting more than one. But it's Wall Street IO is a nice little backup. You know, in case your platform call fails, it's nice to have that. Not only that, it has the anchored VWAP. It's a killer tool for me. I just love it. I see price action come to minor support, minor resistance. And I'm looking at it all the time to bounce back and forth between these volume weighted average price. And what I'm looking for is price action for the bulls to come in and start taking price back up to the all-time high anchored VWAP. So good chance tomorrow we could visit 520. We'll see what happens. But let's go take a look at a few other things. I'll come back and we're going to visit the SPY one more time. Like I said, I like to look at the FNGU and some of the components inside it. So let's take a look at Apple. That's one of them. Now, Apple, I like to look at it on the 130-minute chart or the 2-hour. Either one, they're not much different. You know, Apple got a double top up here, okay? But notice Apple is right on support right through here. See that? I mean, I can draw a line and connect. See how Apple is right on top of support? See how price action comes up? These two humps supports that line, while these two valleys come down and push that down. So Apple is right on support. Now Apple is also in a 2-hour downtrend. Okay? But it's also hooking right there, right off of support right there. So if they fail to make a lower low, which it kind of looks like they're doing, see this? If they fail to make a lower low, guess where Apple goes? They're coming back up here to challenge this lower high. That'll be the first target they go after. If they fail to make a lower low. All right? And it looks like they're failing almost. They're kind of in a bear flag. All right? Right through there. All right? They're in quadrant 1. So they're still bearish. All right? But it looks like they're failing at it right now. All right? That they may fail to get a lower low. All right? Because if they don't make this lower low, it's a good chance they're coming right back up here to challenge this high. And if that fails to hold them down, then they're going to be climbing this breakdown candle right here. All right, so there's Apple. Okay, Apple has a possible imminent change right there. Okay. So I like to look at the big ones. All right. So Meta. Okay. Meta's looking good, but it's in a 2-hour downtrend. But is it on support? Yeah. Meta is on support right through there. See that? That's support. You see where the valley comes down and the humps go up? Right through there. Meta's on support. If they get under this, right here, this area right here, 73.20, wrong one. There we go. All right, so here's Meta on a support line right through here. This is diagonal support. That's what we call this trend line. This is diagonal support. All right, see now you see Meta failed right here to make a lower low. All right, so where do they go? Back up to challenge this high. Now they got on top of this high in the post market, and they're bull flagging so far. All right, so if they manage to bull flag over to the right, they also could be bullish. All right, then they start climbing the breakdown candles. See all these breakdown candles? And before you know it, they could be back up here at 510. All right, after they consolidate. So here's another one that has a possible imminent failure to make a new low. All right, so they're back up here challenging the high. If they consolidate over to the right into the uptrend line, it's a good chance they J-hook out of here and they start climbing these breakdown candles right there. So these are the things that I'm looking for in the morning, is what could happen, what is likely to happen. All right, so there's Meta. And the other one I wanted to visit was Google. I haven't looked at this yet, but they're one of the big ones. Okay, so now this one happens to be a 4-hour MMRP, all right? So this is a 4-hour MMRP, maybe, about a 4-hour MMRP. Let's try this. Try that. It's kind of coming in on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so what is an MMRP? It's kind of like a reversal pattern. All right, price reverses and breaks through resistance. Okay, you see this? See this hill right there? That's price action going up, price action going up, price action going up. So right there. Every time it went up there, it got rejected. Went up there, it got rejected. Went up there, and it got rejected. So now this is the breakout, and then they pause. So this is the igniting candle right there on Google. Then they pause. Then they pull back and they test. Guess what? Minor support right there. Okay? See all of this consolidation? The lows down here, this is the major support of the consolidation. The peaks, so the valleys are the major support. The peaks of the consolidation are the minor support. Okay? So you can see here's price action comes back, hits minor support, and now it's off to make a new high. All right, so igniting candle, pause. Now they check the resistance that they just blasted through right here. Okay? And the resistance hold, and the bulls stepped in and bought it right back up. Notice how it closed over the 3 EMA, over VWAP, okay? And here's the pre-market or the post-market heading back up. So I look for 3 of these price advancement candles. So Google probably most likely has 3 more price advancement candles to the upside, each one making a higher low and a higher high. Okay, that's what I'm looking at in Google. So this is already turned the corner and headed back up to make brand new highs. Are those all-time highs? Yeah, that's an all-time high for Google right there. Right, and good chance this goes twice as high. Actually, let's see, from here, from the base breakout, 152.50 up to 155.50. That's $3. Add $3 to 155.50 gives you up to about 158, 159. So Google looks good to go to 159. We'll see what happens. First, we got to clear the high. All right, don't want to get ahead of myself, but first we got to clear this high. If you notice, price action hits the minor support, and guess what? Back up to challenge the prior high right there. See, pull back to minor support. That's what we like to see as bulls. All right, pull back to minor support, bounce, and back up to challenge the high. Okay, so now I'm going to go visit. This is my favorite one, FNGU. All right. I'm going to go to the 2 hour because that's my favorite time frame to start out on. Okay, so you look at 2 hour, and all I'm doing right here is connecting the lows. That's it. That's the easiest thing to do, is to put in a trend line. And you can have multiple trend lines. You could have one that goes from this low to this low, and then so forth like that. That could also be a viable trend right there. All right, then we've got this one going on right there. So we got two possible trend lines for price action. Irregardless, it's respecting them both at this time. So we've got a triangle playing out, a wedge. This is a bullish wedge up here. So FNGU just still consolidating, but look at how many times it's been up to this area right here. All right, and tried to get on top of it and close candles and consolidate. When it gets up on top and finally consolidates over to the right, all right, look out, because then they're going higher. But they've been up here, you know, once, twice, three. Look at all this. That's like a brick wall right there. 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6, 7. Back up there, 8. All right, so if they fail to make a lower low right here, they're coming back up here to challenge the high again. What time? Well, it could be there tomorrow morning. It might gap right up to it. But you've got here's one. All right, there's a 4 hour. It's another one. And another one. Probably sometime tomorrow. Looking good to get there sometime tomorrow. Roger. As long as they continue this uptrend, all right? You're looking for that 10-minute uptrend. See right here? See that 10-minute uptrend inside that 2 hour uptrend. See that? Just stick with that 10-minute uptrend. When the 3 crosses the 8, it's done. All right? Now notice right here is consolidating over to the right. Good chance it breaks out. This is a 10-minute. Oh, Trader X is... Thanks, Trader X. Trader X is sharing Meta. Thanks, Trader X. All right, so there's Google right there. All right, so we'll go back to FNGU. Remember, this is the one with all the big boys in it. All right, so we had a measured move down. Notice a move down, consolidation over to the right, and then another move right into the 2 trend lines right here. All right, so now we're back up at, guess what? Minor resistance. See this consolidation? Okay. If they start consolidating over to the right through here. They're going to start climbing this breakdown candle, this candle here. Fill the gap. All right, they're going to fill the gap and then start climbing this breakdown candle right there. Okay, that's what FNGU is looking good to do. If it consolidates underneath this, all right, they got to consolidate and burn away the excess fat that's up here. Okay, you got a lot of buyers and sellers, 27, 28 in the first, right through here. All right, that are in some pain, so there'll be some sellers when it gets here. All right, so now it's up here. They'll have to burn off some fat right through here and then fill the gap. All right, so this is looking good for tomorrow to be bullish, unless of course it gets rejected back to the uptrend line. Okay, because after they hit minor resistance, you know, if they fail to make higher highs, guess what? They're coming back down to visit the prior lows. All right, so this is what I do. This is my technical analysis. I'm looking at the big boys. I want to find out what's going on with them. All right, because if they got the flu, all right, then the market's definitely going to catch a cold. All right, if the big boys get the flu, market's going to catch a cold. See how the big boys got the flu? Market catches a cold. And consequently, what did we get? We got to pull back in the SPY. See that right there? Okay. I'm sure that it does distort some of the price action, sending it to extremes, being because it's 3x. But all in all, as long as it continues to make higher lows and higher highs, that's what I'm looking for the most part, Matt. Whether it's 3x or 1x, it's still going to present a higher high or a higher low. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking for, is the price action within, whether it's 3x or 1x, they're both going to have the same type of price action. Okay? They're both going to have the same type. So I'm looking at the highs and lows and how they react to the anchored VWAPs, because they'll pretty much be the same setup through there. So you can see here SPY. So we'll go to the daily chart. All right, so here's our daily chart of SPY. And you want to see what we bounced off of today. Let me just share it with you real quick. That's not the one I wanted to share. Right there. Okay? So there's our uptrend line right through there. I got a few more uptrend lines on here, but you can see there's our uptrend line right there. Let me see if I can find a cleaner one for you. All right, so I'll just draw it in so you guys can see it. Okay, you want to see why the SPY bounced today? Diagonal support. Okay, now all I didn't do anything special, nothing magical. Okay, all I did was connect the low, the low, the low, and lo and behold, right here, we bounce. Okay, you see that? We hit diagonal support. So now we're going to come back up and test one of these anchored VWAPs. And if we bull flag underneath it, or hopefully on top of it, then we'll be climbing up some breakdown candles and filling the gap. All right, that's what we're looking to do. We got to consolidate on top and then start to fill the gap. All right, that's the way the bulls work. They'll have to get up there, hold price, you know, up over resistance, 520.50, get up on top of it, consolidate, fill the gap, and then start climbing the breakdown candles to make a new high. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. So SPY had an M pattern today, All right. And here's our M pattern. And you can see we broke this right here. Now the good news is SPY got on top of this and they're closing 10-minute candles in there. Okay? Right underneath the valley, right through there. So that's the good news for the bulls. All right, so if we drill down to the 10, because that's what I want to see. Okay, so this would be the bottom of the M right there. Are we consolidating on top of it? Well, notice we didn't get rejected like we did here. We're actually consolidating right on top of it in the post market. Okay, so that's a bullish sign for tomorrow. So good chance we start filling this gap right up to resistance, 520.50. Probably consolidate. All right, like right underneath. Like to see us consolidate right underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP, and then eventually find our way on top, consolidate a little bit more, and then over the end of the week start climbing up these breakdown candles. Yeah, that was a beautiful pattern. But that's the beauty of doing your own technical analysis, right? Is you're prepared for what happens. What do we like to see? Price action pull back to minor support. Notice this is the minor support right through there. That would be the peaks of the consolidation through this area. All right? See the consolidation through here. Pulls back to the peaks right there. All right? And then where does it go from there? It catches the diagonal support and the anchored VWAP and proceeds back up to challenge the minor resistance. So it hits minor support, bounces back up to minor resistance. Now, the tough part is how long are they going to try? Because eventually, if they don't get on top of this, they will have created a lower high, right? So what they're going to have to do is come back and give us a higher low. More than likely, they're not going to get on top of this unless Jerome Powell speaks and then the markets just finish the job, all right? In which, in fact, he is speaking tomorrow at noon. So they may get up here, consolidate, then Jerry speaks, and then all of a sudden we could find our way taking out that high. That's a possibility, all right? But if we get there too soon and we fail, we might come back and create the higher low, and then Jerry speaks, and then we're back up there. So we'll see what happens. So I'm playing out all the different scenarios that might happen in my head. Where is it likely to go? Well, it's definitely likely to go to this all-time high anchored VWAP. When we get there, I don't know. All right? But first, the nice part is we're consolidating on top of, right here, we got through the M, the valley of the M pattern right there. So that's a good sign. If we consolidate through there and then move up a little bit, consolidate, move up, we could see ourselves filling the gap. Possibly tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Jerry's at 12:10. That's right. So in the morning time, what I like to do, I like to draw in all of my support and resistance because I want to know what's going on. And I look at all the different scenarios that could happen. So here, we have a possible trend there. Okay, that is a possibility that is a trend going right through there. And it's possible it comes out to right about there. All right, so it's possible we come up, hit this area right here, that notch, and I'll put that notch in there, right in here, that crook, and then roll over back down to test this uptrend line. We'll see what happens, all right? But we're looking for an uptrend. Today was difficult because, number one, all right, we had a downtrend. But we gapped so far down it didn't leave us any room to play because we hit the daily support line right there. And then we had the only option left was to play counter trend. And whenever I play counter trend, I don't go big position. I only do like 5 contracts. So all we had was a counter trend play. And it's not what I like to do. So that's why I only do a couple contracts when I do counter trend, because it's not ideal. It's more ideal to be in a 10-minute downtrend within the 2-hour downtrend. Okay? That works out so much better. All right? It's much easier. I have much more success with that. Okay? The 2-hour downtrend and the 10-minute downtrend inside it. All right? This was a counter trend play. Consequently, I didn't give it a whole lot of credence as far as it's having success. All right? But I thought it's a good chance. After hitting the daily support, we're probably going to come back up there and hit that. So I took my profit at the end of the day. As you notice, that's where we closed, right there. Because I don't want it on the table. I mean, we have a pattern of moving up, hitting this, and dropping lower. So we hit this, we could drop lower again. We'll see. Thanks, CJ. Thanks for being here. Sorry we didn't get started earlier. Had a little bit of technical difficulties. Thanks, Bob, for being here. Appreciate that. All right. Really love that. So this is what I do every morning. All right. I do my own technical analysis. All right. So I fill in a gap. All right. There's a lot of stuff on my chart. Okay. I have an open gap right there. And I type it in so the people in my room can see it. And I know what it is. I say, hey, we have an open gap right here. Because open gaps are like, what am I going to say? They're magnetic. They kind of pull price back to the other side to fill that gap. All right? So, not to say that it actually will get there. We'll see what happens. In order for it to get there, it's going to have to go up, make higher lows, or consolidate, and then move back up to those highs and breach the new highs. Okay? So I draw in the gaps. That's one of them. The second thing I do is I put in the overnight price action. All right? So I take one of these and I put it in there. So I put it in and I'll color it purple because I want to know that's the overnight low. And then when I see the high, I'll put in another one, another purple line. Okay, and I'll put that's the overnight high. Because there's a good chance. These are targets. Overnight high, overnight low. All right? You get a double inside day. You know, a double inside day would be like a day inside another day. You know, whenever you get that, you're going to have a nice consolidation breakout. All right? Be ready for that one. All right? Carol asks, what dates are you using a VWAP on SPY? I put them in, Carol. I put them in at the highs and the lows and right after the FOMC breakouts. Okay? So I've got one right here. Okay? Right here at one high. I got one at the all-time high right here from the day before. Right there on the 10-minute. Okay. So I put one at the all-time high. Okay, and that happened on the 28th, Carol. That happened on the 28th of March. Okay, then I put one on the prior all-time high. All right, I have one up here. All right. And that's the 21st of March. Then I have one on the FOMC breakout right here. That's when FOMC made their statement. And we saw that igniting move right there. Okay, and that one's on the 20th of March. All right. And then I put one on this. See where we hit support? I put one on that low right there. And the last one was on another prior all-time high. Now watch when I put this one on, how price action goes right to it. Watch this. See that? See how price came down to this prior all-time high VWAP and got held up right there. That's like magic. That's why I love this. Is the most, to me, this is more powerful than moving averages because it takes into effect not only the price but also the volume at the same time. Because when I look at volume, I don't get anything from it. I've had volume on my charts before. What do you guys see? You see anything there? I don't see anything. You know, you drill down, every day looks the same. It's a smiley face. Every time it smiles. You know, the big volume comes in at the beginning and the big volume comes in at the end of the day. It's the same thing every day. I don't get anything. I don't even use it. I block it off because it's, to me, that's worthless. This is powerful. Volume weighted average price. That's powerful to me. Volume, straight up volume. I've never taken a trade based on volume. Never. And if I did, I was not successful. To me, that this volume weighted average, because it combines price and the volume at the same time to show you the average where the shares lie, or where the moving average is for price. And it's almost like having Bookmap. All right? I know a lot of you guys trade Bookmap. This is almost just as powerful as that. All right? Because you put a couple of these on there and you know that. How many old highs do I go back? As far as I want to. Every time it made a brand new high, I go back and put in a low. You can put as many as you want on there. These are just the past three. This is the recent high made on the 28th, 21st. This one was made on the 8th right there. Notice another thing. Every time we make a new high, we do a zigzag down. We make a new high, we did a zigzag down. Okay? We make a new high, we did a zigzag down. Look at this. We made a new high. Guess what we did? A zigzag down. All right? You guys seeing the pattern here? Make a new high, do a zigzag down. Make a new high, do a zigzag down. See? Zig, zag. See it? Zigzag down. Zigzag down. Same thing here. Brand new high. Zigzag down. It's amazing. You're looking for the balance between the relevance and the spaghetti on the chart. It's going to be a personal preference, JC. All right? You're going to have to have a revelation. All right? And it won't come to you until you use it, or you're in someone's room and they say, hey, look, we're going to this anchor weighted AVWAP. All right? It's going to take a revelation. What do I do in a downtrend? I stay with the downtrend till it ends. I'm a 10-minute trader in a 2-hour time frame. Okay? As long as the 2-hour downtrend still exists, all right, I'm going to find the 10-minute downtrend underneath it. Right? That's what I look for. I'm looking for the 2-hour downtrend, and I'm going to look for the 10-minute inside it. Easter pullback or zigzag, either one, whatever, however you want to call it. Sell in May and go away, you know. Did we just do the window dressing at the end of March? I mean, you could call it several different things, right? The window dressing at the end of March, you know, sell in May and go away. We're getting ready for it. Either way, the Easter sell-off, Easter comes at different times, so we'll see. Either way. So, this is what I do every morning, all right? I do my technical analysis, all right? And I'm looking for, where's the minor support? All right, so now if they get through the minor support and they make a lower high and they come back and visit these lows, where's the next support line down, right? All right, so that's what I want to have mapped out. So, kind of extend one of those. Where are we likely to hit tomorrow if we don't go up? And let's say Apple and Meta and Google don't perform exactly like we want them to, coming right out of the gate. Probably coming down to 515.61. See this breakdown candle right here? Right there. See that breakup candle? Probably going to test the breakup candle low. Right there. Right into this notch of this uptrend right through there. All right, right into this notch. Right about there. 515.61. Okay? So we're either going here or we're going here. Okay, we're either going to 520.50, 520.29, or we're coming down to 515.61. And I'm sure Jerry will send us well on our way, all right, once noon hour comes. Yeah, could be. I wouldn't doubt that. All right, so you want to look like where's, of this consolidation, where is the major support? Okay, it's going to be these valleys down here. Okay, see all the valleys? Right through here, 505. Let me move this. Okay, if we do start getting crushed, all right, notice this anchored VWAP lines up with the bottom of this support line. See the support? I'm going to put it in there for you so you see it. See this? See how this hilltop lines up with these valleys right here and this anchored VWAP? You know, if we start getting crushed, we could be headed for 509 right there. There's no put squeeze to be had or no short squeeze. All right, so good chance they may come after 509. We'll see what they want to do. Yeah, sure. All right, watch this, Stefan. You pick the anchor up. Just click it. I just left click. And then see the anchor on the screen? I just move it over. And I find the highest the highest candle in the group here. And I kind of eyeball it and just plant it right there. That's it. All you got to do is left click and then just drag it over and plant it. Okay? Left click, drag it over, plant it. That's it. Just left click again to release it. All right? And then you can go inside and you can tweak it. You know, if you don't like pink, I like pink because it shows up against all the other colors I have on my chart. You might want teal. And the lower one? What do you mean the lower one? Down here? It's the same one. Yeah, I just colored it differently. That's all. This is the same thing. It's an anchored VWAP. That's an anchored VWAP. That's an anchored VWAP. Thanks, Matt. I can always count on Matt for some positive comments. Thank you for the kind words. All right, so you run a line across the tops of these to get your support. All right, and it's only support if you're above it. Okay, and then you run a line across the bottoms of these to get your resistance, and it's only resistance if you're below it. Right? Okay, and then you look up again. Okay, where's the next area? And you draw a line in, and each one of these becomes a target. See this? Each one of these becomes a target as your price goes up. After you hit one, you want it to consolidate, then move up to the next one. And watch those anchored VWAPs, because there's a good chance you're going after one of them. All right? So that's what I do every morning. I map out my overnight low, my overnight high, where my midpoint is. Here's another thing I like to do. All right, is the midpoint, the quad line tool. Here's the pullback. Okay, so where is it likely to go? Oh, look, the all-time high anchored VWAP lines up with what? Oh, the midpoint. Look at that. Okay, where's that? Oh, 520.50. How many times do we got to say 520.50 to realize that's probably going to be a popular location after Jerry speaks? Is there a way I can tell where SPY goes into a chop? When we hit this, I don't know how to describe it, but you make a big move and you hit something. I'm looking for it to do, if it doesn't jerk back up to here, okay, then chances are it's going to consolidate. And that's when you're going to get your chop. Okay? If it doesn't bounce more than $1.25, okay, it's got to bounce like more than $1.25. All right? If it doesn't bounce more than $1.25, chances are it's going to chop. But you see here, we came down and we didn't bounce. We just kind of consolidated, right, Mel? Remember this? We just kind of consolidated over to the left, over to the right. I mean, we got the $1.25 bounce right there, right? But then we went back down to do a double bottom. And then we still struggled to make that higher high right there. Just never got going. Got to break that rubber band candle right there. See that? That rubber band candle. Got to break over that. That's when we finally got there. See that one wick right there? We kept challenging that wick, making a high low there, and then we went up. All right, traders, I'm going to take questions. You see how I do technical analysis. I know you got questions as to how do I do it, but I use a lot of the tools right here I use to help me understand the markets. All right, so if you got a question, you got a stock you want me to look at, I'm here for you. I'll stay as long as you want. I just want to help traders be successful. All right, and this anchored VWAP, it's so easy, and I wish I discovered it years ago. But I'm glad I'm glad I found it now. That's the truth. You want to look at Schwab? Okay, Don. First thing I do is I go to the daily chart. All right, so I'm going to go to the daily chart first. All right, SCHW. All right. So daily's in an uptrend, and you're in a bull flag right now. All right. You just failed to make a higher high right here. See that? But you're in a bull flag, so you're up, and it's moving over to the right. All right, so this is probably like a 3-day, maybe like an MMRP kind of finding. This thing may take off even higher. You've got an inverted head and shoulders, Don, on the 2-day. This would be the head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Here's your neckline right there. Right there, your neckline. Breaking through that neckline, and you're consolidating. See, this is exactly what I like to see, Don. See how it's consolidating on top of what was major resistance, okay? Because that was a prior high, right there. It's consolidating now on top of that. So what do I want it from here? I want it to cool off, all right? And it's had a little bit of time to cool off, but maybe another week would be nice. As long as it continues to hold up here, I think the market will find a way to give it some more lift a little bit later. All right, but it's consolidating up on top of this $71 right there. So that's bullish. Just failed to make a breakout high right there. That's a lower high. It could come tumbling back to the neckline. All right. And I would look, if it does, I would look for it to J-hook off that neckline, up, and away out of here. But I like Schwab. So let's go to the 2-hour. So you got a 2-hour downtrend right now. Okay. So wait for that 2-hour uptrend. Start moving you back. You're just moving to the right now. Okay, it's just moving to the right. So I like it. The only thing I wish it had was that 2-hour uptrend. See that? That's a beautiful thing. Right there. URA and NFLX. All right, let's try URA. A little bit of uranium, right? That's got to be, yeah. Okay, uranium daily chart. All right, 1, 2, 3, strong move up. Like that. Oh, look at that. Broke through resistance. Okay, because see the valley here and the hill there? Right there. So that's some resistance it just broke through. Right through there. Even better, let's look at the 2-hour. Looks like the 2-hour pulled back and J-hooked out of there. Okay. See that? Pull back, found support. You know what we like to see after they find support? Go challenge the prior high. Here's the prior high. And they're back up and out of there. So it's doing all the right stuff. It's made a higher low. on the 2-hour and the higher high. Now, how high should it go? Well, you're getting a little bit of wick up here, but that's just pre-market noise. Okay, where do we want to go? Okay, so the next resistance area is probably going to be right. Okay, you're right into that resistance area. You got a little bit more room to move right there. So there's the next resistance area. So if you consolidate under there, I can see you are climbing. If we can get on top of this right here, Mel, this 3058. See this? If you get on top of that 3058 and start moving to the right, holding that ground, you got to hold the ground. You're going to start climbing this uptrend, this breakdown candle high right there. But you got to get on top and hold the ground. And then you're going to, once they're up that, you're going to climb this breakdown candle right there. All right? And NFLX. Netflix daily chart. Well, you've got some resistance right here. Okay? See the top of that wick, top of that wick. If you slide these two together, that's another wick. Slide these two together, that's another wick. Slide those two together, that's another wick. So you got wick, wick, another 3 more wicks up there. You're running into a brick wall right there. Okay? But the good news is they're not giving up, and you haven't made a lower low. Okay? You haven't made a lower low, and you've got support right through here. Right there. See how? Maybe a little bit lower. Right there. Okay, so price action came in. See that valley right there? So you don't want to break that low right there. All right? You got a little bit of room to move all the way down to 570, about sub 575. You're still bullish on the daily. On the 2-hour, you just had a 2-hour cross. It's important that they hold the ground right through here. And you get another little bit of support right here. Right in there. Maybe there. I'm just going to call it a range right from here right up to there. Okay? So we're just going to call this a range of support. Put it in like that. You could find yourself, this could be a measured move to the downside. You know, you failed to make a higher high right here. So you could find yourself right. Yeah, you've got some support right there. Could find yourself down at 582, 580. We'll see. Right now you're in a 2-hour uptrend. But watch this. Watch this. If they decide to roll over, good chance you're coming down to 580. All right. They'll probably get into this support here and give it a spike down to 580 or so. All right. JC1C UEC. All right, UEC on the daily chart. I've done this one before. There's your uptrend line. All right, you're looking at a head and shoulders right now with a double top up here. Left shoulder, right shoulder. UEC's got to get up on top of this area right here and hold the ground. Okay, they got to get up here and hold. Okay, they're right into, see this area right here. They got kind of the same thing happening as Netflix. You got kind of a range of resistance right through here. Right in there. So got to get up on top of that, on top of this box, 741, and hold the ground. Okay, it's where they got to get up there and hold, and they can start climbing these breakdown candles right here. All right. So far, they're just consolidating in a bear flag. All right. JC consolidating in a bear flag. Put the quad lines in. So you're under the midpoint. So the bears own the business down here. Okay? The bulls over the midpoint. The bulls own the business up above the box, up above the midpoint. Okay? You finally, after multiple days, close the candle up here. But that's just one candle. All right? You could get a red candle tomorrow and you'd be back down underneath it. Just like here. Okay? You finally closed the candle up there. That's a good sign. And you made a higher low. That's another good sign. All right, so it's looking good to get up on top of 741, and you want to see them hold up here, and then they start climbing these breakdown candles. CCJ. CCJ. Tweezer top with double top up there. You're back up at the shoulder, right here, right into resistance. They gotta hold this area. They gotta hold this area. If they can't hold this area, they're coming back to this peak right here. They're coming back to these two right there. If they can't hold this area on top of this shoulder right here. All right, they're probably coming back down to the box, to this box area. They got to get up there and hold. Okay. Thanks, Ed. Rubber biscuit, the 3 EMA. Okay, the 3 EMA tells me when my, okay, that tells me when I have my 10-minute uptrend. See the 3 on top of the 8? That tells me to get in. That's when I want to be a buyer. See the consolidation breakout? See the 3 crossing the 8? Okay? And you see the candles make higher lows? See, this is what I want to find is the 3 on top of the 8. That's what I want to buy. So I'm looking for that 10-minute uptrend. See the stack? This is what I call a stack, a 10-minute stack. Biscuit right here. Price on top of the 3, on top of the 8, on top of a rising 17. That's the 10-minute stack. Now I'm looking for a 10-minute stack inside a 2-hour stack. Price on top of the 3, on top of the 8, on top of a rising 17 EMA. That's what I'm looking for. A 2-hour stack moving up and a 10-minute stack inside that. See this 10-minute stack? That's what I like to find. 3 crosses over the 8. You're on top of BYOB. Love that. I'm in it. All right. Breaking over the top of these wicks. See the wicks? Right there. Breaking over the top of those wicks. There's a breakout right there. Okay. So you see you got some resistance. We break through the resistance. Come back. Do a little test and continue on. That's what I want to be a part of, this 10-minute uptrend right there. See that? That's a beautiful thing. So you move from right on top of those wicks, all right? You got that consolidation breakout. See how the price gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and then finally rips. You got that higher low right there, higher low consolidation, and then takes out the top of that wick right there. So you want to see green, rubber biscuit. See the green erase the red. So all of this is red, okay? Right? That's all red because we price move from here down to here. So I want to see green wipe out red. Bingo, right there, 46.52. Okay? Now I can get in. Now I don't have to get out until the 3 crosses back underneath the 8. Now I'm out. Right there. Okay? See, in. Green erases red. Out. Up here. See that? Bearish engulfing. Out. Or 3 crossing the 8. Out. Green erases red. Get back in. Now I'm out. See that? Isn't that beautiful? Green erases red, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Right there. You're in. Now you're out. Look at this. Green erases red. Right here. See this? This is all red. Green erases red. I want in. I want out. 10-day average true range right there. ATR, average true range, 165. Jay, what is... Trader X got it for you. Thanks. Yeah. So I'm looking for the 2-hour stack. Remember? Biscuit. Right here. Trader Biscuit. You get 2-hour stack. And I'm looking for the 10-minute right inside it. And that 3, price on top of the 3, on top of the 8. I'm looking for that stack to wipe out red. Okay, so tomorrow morning, okay, we have a 10-minute uptrend. Already started over VWAP. Okay, so you know what we need tomorrow morning to get in? Green candles to wipe out a red candle. That's all we need. We've already got the 10-minute uptrend. All right? It'd be nice if we had the 2-hour uptrend, but we've already got a 10-minute uptrend. All we want to see is green erase red. Okay? And we want to see them do it over resistance. Okay? Not just under it. On top of resistance. Okay? Want to see him do it on top of resistance. All right? Because we don't want to see green erase red right into resistance, because then we just get jammed up. You ever jam your finger? Close it in the door or something like that. Walking in the dark, you hit your toe. You jam your toe. Okay? We don't want to do that. Okay? That's resistance. You jam your toe. You jam your finger. Okay? We want to get it on top of resistance. That's the better play. Yeah. That hurts. Done that a few times. Carol, I like to use the 10-minute or the 2-hour. Either one. I like those two. 2 hours better because you can get closer to the candle or to the price action. All right. Can I predict based on closing? No, I cannot. I could not tell you. It could be data tomorrow that comes out that's like out of line. It could be somebody's big earnings. remember Apple, like Apple's going to report in a month. That's not far. Yeah. Which chart? Yeah, just watch the price action. Yeah. That's the best way. Watch the price. I mean, could I tell you, look at Apple, that Apple was going to gap down the next day? I couldn't. All right? I mean, look at it. They were moving up through there. All right? But they failed to make a higher high. But who's to say that that's the end of the move? Right? Who's to say that that's the end of the move? It's the same here. You know, who's to say that that's the end of the move right there? And then they come tumbling down. So it's hard. I try not to get into that. I'm better off just playing the trends. Yeah. Yes, they are. Yeah, well, that's very true, T. You don't get the price movement. Like this one got a lot of, see the 10-day ATR there? You got a lot of movement. My buddy Sonny pointed this one out to me. But this one is very, very spastic. But it's got a big ATR. Look at that. Yeah, yes, it's pure speculation. I wouldn't know anything. I don't do it. Because if I ever tried it, let me just say, I would fail. And if I got it right, it would be pure luck. That's God's honest truth. It would be pure luck. The only one that would know is whoever holds the most shares of Apple will probably have a good idea of where it's going tomorrow. He's the only one that probably knows where it's going. All right, traders. All right. I will see you all. Some of you I see on Thursday. I got another webinar for the members. If you're not a member of one of our services, please consider it. You could be a member for, you could try all three for $75. All right, so everybody have a beautiful night. Sorry about the technical difficulties. All right, this is recorded. That's the good news, so you'll be able to go back over it and watch it again. All right, so just give me some time to get it recorded, render my recording. All right, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Stefan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Have a beautiful evening. I got to go get a drink. I'll see you all my members in the trading room tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Thank you.